আমি প্রতিটি হত্যাকাণ্ডের নিন্দা জানাই।
We condemn any violence against peaceful protest.
Things are getting worse in Bangladesh. The protests are escalating. These are protests against job quotas. A lot of you have been writing to us from Bangladesh. We appreciate your emails, messages and comments, and we'll keep trying to show the full picture to the world. It's not a reassuring picture at the moment. There are armored vehicles on the streets of Dhaka. Riot cops are on the prowl. They're using tear gas and rubber bullets to repel protesting students. Around 32 protesters have been killed so far. More than 500 have been injured, and the death toll keeps rising. It was 6 yesterday, it was 16 in the evening, and now it's 32. So the situation is spiraling out of control. Security forces have unleashed a brutal crackdown, yet the students are not backing down. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina offered to negotiate with them, but the students have rejected it. They plan to continue the protest. The Prime Minister also addressed the nation on Wednesday. She condemned the student deaths.
I seek forgiveness for the souls of those who have died. I express deep condolences to their family members. I firmly declare that those who carried out murders, looting, and violence, whoever they are, I will make sure they will be given the appropriate punishment.
The threat hasn't worked. Hundreds of protesters gathered in Dhaka, many of them carrying large sticks. They set fires in the middle of the road, attacked public property, and faced off with police officers. Take a look. Protesters also targeted the state television headquarters. They have set the building on fire. It is feared that many people are trapped inside. Now, we've covered this protest before. The issue here is a quota in government jobs. Bangladesh used to reserve 30% of jobs for freedom fighters, 30%. People who fought in the 1971 Liberation War, 30% of government jobs were reserved for them and their children and grandchildren. In 2018, there was pushback against this. Students said that the quota was unfair. It was robbing them of a fair opportunity. So in 2018, the quota was abolished. But this month, Dhaka's High Court reversed it. They brought the freedom fighter quota back. Hence these protests. And what has Sheikh Hasina done about it? At first, she was dismissive, which made the students even more angry. But now she's trying to restore order. All schools and colleges have been shut indefinitely in the country. Security agencies have been deployed and mobile internet has been suspended. But the problem has not been solved. Bangladesh's Supreme Court will be hearing this matter next month. The government wants to expedite the hearing. But what happens if the top court also upholds the quota? Then it is up to the government again. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina says she is open to reforming the quota, but to what extent it's not clear. Plus, the quota has benefited her allies, so protesters ask, why would she reform it? It's a fair question. This unrest poses two main challenges to Sheikh Hasina. First is Western scrutiny. The US and Europe had criticized Bangladesh's recent elections. They said it wasn't free or fair. Hasina had brushed those claims aside. But this unrest is fresh ammunition for the West. Listen to the US State Department.
We've been watching this matter very closely, both from our embassy and officials here in Washington have been monitoring the protests, have seen the reports of people dying, being killed in the protests. And we, again, call on the government to uphold individuals' rights to protest peacefully.
I know what you're thinking. Why does Western opinion matter to Bangladesh? Because of money. Most of Dhaka's textile exports end up in the US and Europe, so Sheikh Hasina must be careful. She cannot give the West excuses to target her, or worse, sanction her trade. Challenge number 2 is internal. Public protests are a recurring problem in Bangladesh. Just look at this list. In 2010, garment workers protested. Hundreds of them took to the streets. They attacked vehicles, burnt tires and smashed shops. In 2013, the Shahbag protests happened. Tens of thousands of Bangladeshis demanded death penalty for a convicted war criminal. The same year, you had the Rana Plaza protests. A factory collapse killed more than 1,000 workers, so the backlash was immense. In 2018, Bangladeshis protested for road safety. The same year, they also protested against the 30% quota. And in 2022, the opposition organized a massive movement. Tens of thousands gathered in Dhaka. They demanded Sheikh Hasina's resignation. Now, this recent past makes one thing quite clear. Public protests are worryingly common in Bangladesh. The question is why? Government failure is one reason, but so is the nature of Bangladeshi politics. Sheikh Hasina has been in power since 2009, and in this period, she has cracked down on opposition leaders. They're unable to beat her at the polling booth. So what do? They hit the streets, especially the Jamaat-e-Islami. It's a radical Islamist party in Bangladesh. They're known for hijacking public protests, which is why the Prime Minister must be careful. She may have tamed protests before, but she cannot be complacent. Right now, the protests are only about the quota, but remember, Bangladesh has other problems too. For example, inflation is inching close to 10%. How long before that discontent spills over? It's a worry for Prime Minister Hasina, and it's a worry for India too. Dhaka has been a reliable and close ally for New Delhi. So far, the Indian government has not commented on the unrest, but the Indian mission has issued an advisory. Indians have been asked to avoid travel in Bangladesh. New Delhi will be hoping that the violence stops, because ignoring student deaths is not a good look in diplomacy.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making First Post 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
As the world warms, nature's sentinels will rise. As a billion hands will dig deep to write a new future for our planet.
On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. For the first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to First Post America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.